Good evening. This is the May 2022 progress report. We will start with a storm damage update. Approximately 50% of the citywide cleanup has been completed. Actually, at the end of today, it was at exactly 50.77%. And residents can view the cleanup tracker online at cityofbrookingsSD.gov/cleanup tracker. The storm debris dumping for Brookings County residents is available and free at the Brookings City landfill. And residents and also contractors can actually bring their debris for dumping for free until Tuesday, May 31st. So it has been extended through the end of the month for all of those individuals. Also, there is going to be if you see, we're asking residents if they see people cleaning up and they see cleanup crews on the road in front of them, if they could take an alternate route, that would be wonderful. They are operating that heavy equipment and they need room to maneuver. And if a car can go around a different way to allow them that extra room, that would be greatly appreciated by the crews. And also, if residents can also bring their items to the landfill, the crews are cleaning up a lot of cleanup items, and if the residents can bring those items themselves, it would be greatly appreciated and would help the cleanup go a little bit faster as well. The next item, the city partnered with the BEDC, the Chamber of Commerce, and Bose Construction helped to prepare for a groundbreaking ceremony that was held on the May 11th. Unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate that day, so we had to move it indoors to Daktronics, which was really great that they allowed us to go and do that there. So that was a great event, and a lot of people were honored and appreciated for the amount of work that they have put into this project. Work this past month has included a ramp overpass on the east side of I29 that started. The piles for the center pier have been installed. Water main installation is continuing, and boring under I29 has been completed. The next steps are ramps and culverts on the west side, and the substantial completion date of the bridge itself is anticipated for July 2023. The next project is the 15th Street and 7th Avenue project. There has been a lot of work performed over the last month, including sub-base being installed, detention basin excavation, services for housing lot installed, East Valley gutter has been installed, and the next steps are finishing the detention basin, installing base course, and installing curb and gutter. The expected completion for this project is July of 2022. Next item for streets and engineering is the Main Avenue and 8th Street South project. That is set to start on June 6th. That will be at the intersection of Main Avenue and 8th Street South. The completion is anticipated for August of 2022. The project will include replacement of asphalt with concrete, installation of water main, a new video detection system, pedestrian push-button pedestals, new sidewalk, and new ramps. A map of the detour for the project can be found on the city's website. And the project will be performed in 2 phases. For both phases, the intersection will be closed to through traffic, and it will be completely open before school starts. That the detour route will be marked with plenty of signage for people to be able to find their way around and get to the right spot. This month, we celebrated National Police Week, May 15th through 21st. And National Police Week is a time to remember and recognize individuals who serve and who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. In the city of Brookings, those divisions include patrol, criminal investigation, community service and animal control, and E91 dispatch center. Also, this month we celebrated National Public Works Week, May 15th through 21st. That just happened to be right around the time of the storm, so it worked out kind of perfectly. Our city public works department division includes streets, engineering, and solid waste department or divisions, and they include services of stormwater management, street maintenance, snow removal, garbage recycling and yard waste collection, landfill operations, and airport. The staff had an appreciation luncheon on Tuesday, May 17th, and this year's theme was Ready and Resilient. This means that public works professionals are always ready to serve their communities and resilient as ever in their abilities to pick themselves up off the ground after encountering challenges. The Ready and Resilient theme highlights the ability of those professionals to perform regular public works duty and be ready at a moment's notice to react at first responders during natural disasters and overcome trials seen in the field. And I think that this year's theme was chosen before what happened this year, but it really does represent our Public Works Department, all of the wonderful things that they have been doing over the last couple of weeks. The next item, we have information from spring cleanup. So we have final numbers on that. This year in 2022, there was 475 tons of material, 293 city loads, 563 public loads, 49 roll-off loads, and the total cost of the city was $161,292. What we take away from that, the tonnage and loads was down substantially this year, and they will continue to monitor those numbers to monitor future years' trends. The cost of the city was landfill revenue loss at that time, roll-off service, and labor, which included landfill collections, people from the streets department, and parks, recreation, and forestry departments. In parks and recreation, they distributed 400 plus concolor fir trees to local schools for Arbor Day. The Keiki Cheever Arbor Day Run Walk was held at Dakota Nature Park, and 83 trees were planted up to date as far as the results of the Urban Forest Initiative, and something that we really need right now considering all of the loss to some of our developed trees in the community. Also, Hillcrest Aquatic Center is scheduled to open May 28th, depending on weather. And also, when it comes to those trees, there are still funds available for the Urban Forest Initiative, and those will continue to be open until funds run out. And with that, property owners can receive reimbursement for up to 2 trees on their property. Next item coming up is Brookings Community Games. This year they will be Park and Rec will be hosting the 2nd annual Community Games. Last year was a great time. Showcases recreational facilities and opportunities. Some of the items that will be, some of the events that will be happening this year include pickleball, a 5K run and walk, an adventure relay, a face painting contest, sand volleyball, tug of war, disc golf, yoga, and more. There are several events, and all of those events are viewable on the city's website. Registration closes May 31st. It's a great event to take part in to promote healthy lifestyle through friendly competition and fun. And people, like I said, can find that information and register on the City of Brookings website, citybrookingssd.gov/community games. That will be taking place the 24th through the 26th of June. And the registration deadline actually is coming up at the end of this month. It has been extended until the 31st. So the graphic on there is has been extended, but you have until the end of the month to get registered for that. So I challenge all of you to maybe have a team, which would be awesome to see. The next item is the Stormwater Master Plan that has been posted online. There is a new master plan page. The goals of the new master plan are to address and reduce potential flooding, prioritize improvement projects, reduce impact on downstream communities, and develop a resilient plan that addresses flooding while considering environmental and social benefits. Residents and all of you can learn more on the city's new landing page, www.citybrookings.sd.gov/stormwater plan. That web landing page includes key dates for the project itself and for the master plan. There's videos from prior community engagement sessions, project materials, and there is also a link to the project story website that has been put together by the project developers. So that has a lot of information on it too, to learn about what the goals of the master plan are. The completion date scheduled for this project is September of 2022. Happening at the library this month, raised garden beds were installed and they are ready to plant wildflowers. The kickoff event will take place on the 26th, this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And also, summer reading program started registration. This year's theme is an ocean of possibilities. Kids registration began May 15th, and teen registration actually began today and will continue for the until that is filled. And finally, the Swiftel Center had 32 event days this month. Some events, large events that took place were the Martina McBride concert that had 1,545 attendees, and then also Brookings High School prom that had 300 students and 700 family members. And with that, I am open to any questions. I'm not Jake, but I will try my best to answer.
Any questions or comment from council? Thanks. Go ahead, Councilmember Wendell.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a question about the Main Avenue and 8th Street South project. When we use a detour through a residential neighborhood like we are on Crystal Ridge Road, I think it is, do we do direct communication to the residents living in that neighborhood that will be detouring through or down their street? I just saw that map and thought if I lived on that street, I'd sure want to know that there was a detour coming through my neighborhood.
I would have to ask Charlie about, because I know he's overseeing that process. I can get that response back to you. Unless, Jeremy, are you aware of that notification? No?
If we don't do that, it seems like maybe something that would be worthwhile to give those folks a heads up that it's coming.
Definitely.
Councilmember Tilton Burn.
I'm curious, we had numbers today regarding the spring cleanup and the tonnage and everything that we were able to clean during that time. Are we able to track similarly for the cleanup that we're doing post-storm?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. It's multifaceted. Not only are we looking at overtime hours out at the landfill, but also the debris cleanup. Our assumption is going to be quite a bit more than this, especially looking at the damage to our facilities. Everything from the Swiftel facility to facilities across the city. And so we're hopeful, I believe, this Thursday we have to have a preliminary number to FEMA because we are going to make a request for FEMA. Ultimately, if FEMA can't reimburse us, then we're looking to our insurance. If insurance won't reimburse us, then we're going to have to start pulling out of our reserves, help compensate for some of these funds lost. Just anecdotally, last week, I think the employee with the least amount of hours working on this project had about 70 hours just last week. So that just gives you an indication of how many hours our employees are putting into this project. But yeah, so we hope sometime in the next month or so to have a public number for you to see.
Could I follow up to that?
Please.
I just want to extend my thanks to all of the city employees that are working so hard on this cleanup. I have seen everyone out working very diligently, and I think everyone in the community really appreciates the hard work that's being put into this. So thanks to everyone on the city team. It really is amazing work that's being done.
Along with that, I've received a lot of compliments from the public also, and relay those to the employees that have been doing their due diligence to get our city cleaned up. Councilmember Collins.
Yeah, I'd like to echo Councilman Tilton Burns' comments. I mean, thank you to everybody who works for the city. You did a very outstanding job. My question was about the Swiftel Center. The May 32 event days, is that pretty typical, or is that more than normal, or?
I can answer that one as well. Here lately, it seems like that's kind of the norm. And so what that means is everything from weddings to receptions to large events like we saw last week. In the past, we usually saw anywhere from 10 to 15, but the crew out there has been working very diligently to have something occurring every day.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Specker.
I have a question on the detour, living out in that area. I'm just wondering, are these going to be now 4-way stops or 3-way stops rather than the lights? 'Cause I know that one street backs up now without the detour.
Yeah, we can definitely have more information out there on the detour. I apologize. I don't have it all off the top of my head, but I know it's going to be a major inconvenience for that area. And Charlie has gone out and talked to the primary business owners along that route to help them understand what's going to occur over the summer. Traditionally, what we try to do is get those broken up into a 2-year time frame to allow transportation in between and out of the area. But unfortunately, due to costs and being able to get the appropriate bidders for this project, we had to do it in one season. And so that's going to occur this year. But we can get that information public and to you, council, as well here.
I'm just wondering, like here on 12th and Main, I mean, that's a traffic light right now. And if that main north of that intersection is closed, does it really need to be a traffic light?
Oh, you're asking after the project, does it?
No.
No.
I'm talking during the project.
Okay.
Are the traffic lights still going to be running, or could it be made into three-way stops?
Yeah, once again, I'll have to look into that, and I can get that information back to you.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Councilmember Avery.
I just had a comment, and it's not really in relation. It is in relation to your report, but we talked about the city employees, and they've done a great job on this, and it also brought out the how willing people are to help each other. Neighbors, if they had a tree down, they went over and helped them out, and helped them haul things away, and so I think it's adversity really brings out good in people at times, and I was able to work with a group on Saturday where there was about 60 people, and a lot of from churches and different things that went and tried to clean up the area north of the landfill, and it was a disaster. I mean, there was just trash blown all over these farmers' fields, and during that course that day, they had about 60 volunteers, and they pretty much cleared 3/4 of land there. So they had these little kids on 4-wheelers, and picking up the bags, and everybody would get them filled, and you're ripping sacks out of the barbed wire and everything. But it was, you felt good about it at the end of the day that you'd accomplished something. But it was really good to see, and that one field, we got done with this field, and they were trying to decide if they should go to the next one or not. Well, that might be planted, maybe we shouldn't. By that time, about 20 people were out there picking up stuff. So it was, it was. I'm sure there's more stuff to be picked up, but it was a really good thing to see and be a part of, I guess. So.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?